Hi guys, it's Meredith, and today we're going to make a basic white bread. And these are the ingredients that you'll need. This is all you need. 2 cups of water, and this is what we're going to start our yeast in. Now, in your warm water, you can do it in whatever order, but because I'm using sugar this time, I'm going to put the sugar in second. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of this the rising yeast in the warm water. And I'm going to immediately follow that up with a good heaping, it's not heaping that much, but a heaping-ish tablespoon of sugar. Then you're going to stir it up just a little bit. And now we're going to let those beautiful microbes get to work. If there is an actual trick to making bread, in my experience, this is the trick. When you fill to measure each cup of flour, spoon it in. It seems like it's a waste of your time. It seems like you should just be able to scoop it out. But no, in fact, if you scoop it out, it will compress it in the cup and you will end up with a lot more flour than was intended. This is the way they measured it when they wrote these recipes, so this is how we have to measure it back out. This is 1 cup. Okay, so we've just added some of our ingredients. There was 2 teaspoons of salt, and I use Redmond's real salt. Actually, I use a little closer to 3 teaspoons, although all of the recipes I have ever seen say to use 1. I never taste it at that level. Now, I've also used half of the yeast mixture. Look at this beautiful foamy babiness. Isn't that pretty? It looks like I'm trying to make beer. All right, now we're going to get that in there and get this more combined before we put it over on the stand mixer, because I'm not 20. Now you can do this, just mixing it up with your arms. Use your arms. But as I mentioned, I am not 20. And this is a lot of work to do that. I'm also, in case you didn't notice, very short. And it actually is really high up here on the counters, and so it makes for a very uncomfortable, natural stance when you're trying to mix things together. All right, now see how this looks kind of, I don't know, webby? Webby. Yeah, kind of webby. So at this point right here, we're going to take this and we're going to put this over on the stand mixer where we'll be attaching our dough hook. So here we are, right here over at the KitchenAid. My trusty old KitchenAid. I'm so glad I have this thing. Very fortunate. Okay. Alright, so now my dough hook is attached. And this one I have to lift the bowl up. Now I'm going to mix this, and it is going to mix for about 25 minutes. Because I want it to be firm. I'm making rolls instead of just loaves of bread today. While your dough is mixing, turn your oven light on. This will warm the oven up just to about the perfect temperature to rest your dough. A couple of times you might have to scrape the sides down, so just don't forget to turn your mixer off when you do this. Otherwise, it could grab a hold of this and flip it around and break something. Don't ask me how I know. Alright, that's about enough of that. That's really all we need. Just scrape this off of the dough hook. Well, that was messy. I'm glad y'all didn't see that. All right. Now your dough is done. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to be putting this dough out and working it a bit. Turn it out. It's called turning out the dough. I'm not a professional, y'all. You don't have to be a professional to cook good food. You just have to want to know how to do it. All right. Okay, now wait. Bread dough is sticky. I completely understand that. And there are a lot of people who have a real aversion to having things stick to their hands at all. I understand. And if that's the case for you, if that's a problem for you, it's no problem. Just use some nitrile gloves. Well, tight-fitting nitrile gloves. Keisha H, darling, that is for you specifically. It does make it very much easier because then you don't have to feel the stickiness on your hands. All right, so I'm literally just kind of scraping it out here into one big ball that, there we go, I'm dumping out. Here's the fun part, for real. It actually is. It is fun, especially after you've done this a few times and you kind of have a feel for it. It really gets fun. This is not even a sticky at all dough, so that's beautiful. I really don't even need that much flour, but I'll reserve it back here. So you're going to want to work your dough some, because at this stage you want to have well-developed glutens so that your bread holds together. It sounds difficult, but it's not. And this can be very, very relaxing. So I'm going to do this, and I'll be back with you guys. Okay, the dough is nice. It's springy. It's beautiful. There's no stickiness to it at all. It also has no detectable like surfacey flour. And that's really the way that I like it. If you get some flour on there, it's fine. It won't look the prettiest, but you'll get over it. It's food. It's really good. All right, so right now, what I'm doing with this particular recipe today is I am going to make a single loaf of bread, and then I am making rolls for barbecue. So I'm going to divide this dough as close to in half as I can. And I happen to have this nifty little tool. People call it a bench, B-E-N-C-H, scraper. It's just a nice little flat surface. Before I realized I actually had purchased one of these, I was just using a sharp knife and slicing it down the middle and then kind of pulling it apart. So there we go. And now, well, this one weighs more, and so this one is the one that I will today use to make those rolls. But now I'm going to roll out this loaf. Look at that. Right then, it just looks like one of those butter top split bread loaves. Or that's how it will turn out in the pan. Look at that. I actually don't even need to work this anymore. So I'm going to leave it just like that. I have my handy dandy little loaf pan. And I'm going to generously butter this. Generously. Don't be afraid of the butter. And this is butter. Do not use margarine. It is a lot of water and crappy oils. Use real butter. Just a tip. All right. So I'm literally going to just kind of slather this around in here. This stuff is going to be rising prior to the bake. And it'll at least double in size. Alright, there we go. Got a well buttered loaf pan. And it's butter. It doesn't matter if it touches the bread. Look. I'll just put it all over. It'll be just fine. Alright, play with your food. It's fun. Alright, so I'm going to put this in here. It's as centered as it can kind of be. Now I'm going to put this to the side. And we're going to start rolling out of rolls. Alright. So now, same exact dough. Now, I'm going to make rolls because I am making barbecue tonight. So we are going to have pulled pork sandwiches or barbecue sandwiches. So I'm kind of stretching this out before I divide it up because it'll make it easier for me to be able to divide the pieces up. And you have to understand, this looks very tiny, but this is going to double in size prior to the bake. So you have to keep that in mind when you're making rolls. I have made rolls that really were outrageously large, like this right here, which will turn into a bun about that big, which is like for a pound burger, which is absolutely insane. I mean, actually, a pound burger sounds yummy. All right. And you will notice, this looks a lot like those, you know, like school rolls. You can take them just like they are, just like this. You don't have to shape them. You can just cut them out into a shape that you're cool with and bake them just like that. But I'm going to shape some of them a little bit. Yeah, no, I definitely am. Today, anyway. Let me get some of this trimmed off. So I'm going for approximately the same kind of weight, sort of what you. This one's a little bigger than these other two, but it's fine. See how quickly this puffs out? But it is fun. And this is not at all sticky, y'all. It's not at all. It won't stick to your hands at this stage. If you have gotten your glutens developed the way that they should be. I think this one's a little thin. So, yep, that one's good. And now these end pieces I will be, you know, massaging back together. And it'll make its own bun. Alright, that one's thin. It weighs, it's pretty close, but it's not exact. It'll be alright. We're not selling these, y'all. We're going to be eating them for dinner here with the family. That is an anemic looking, no, it's fine, look. And this is all I would be doing to shape them, rolling them up into little dough balls. And you do have to do it until it actually comes together again. Otherwise, it'll just split apart. But it doesn't stick to your hands at all. Alright. Little dough ball. Now, I'm going to turn it into a sandwich bun. Are you ready? That's it. You just kind of smush it down. The dough has risen. So take your risen doughs out of your oven and preheat it to 350 degrees. You're going to bake your bread at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. And you do want it all to be on the same rack in the oven. At that 30-minute mark. Oh my goodness. Look at these beautiful babies. Look at, that's just, oops. That's gorgeous. Look at these beautiful buns. Alright guys, so these are the sandwich buns. Which, they always look paler on camera than they are in real life. And, oh look at this. Oh yes, beautiful crusty bread. Lovely. Alright, pro tip. If you want your loaves of bread to have a crispy, crunchy outer crust, remove it as soon as possible and put it on a cooling rack. Alright, so we're going to turn this loaf of bread out. And this is exactly why you want to have a well-buttered pan so that it comes out beautiful and easy, just like that. So I'm going to turn this up like this. And I'm going to let this cool down. Really and truly, you need to let this cool down for about an hour. It is very hard to ignore the siren smells of freshly baked bread. But if you cut your loaves of bread before it has naturally cooled off, the texture is going to be very disappointing. Alright, well this was made especially with Frugal Mama in mind. She actually has a channel. The channel is Wellness with Frugal Mama. If you don't know her, please take a moment to check her out. She's an amazing and inspirational lady. Alright guys,
I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. It was good to see you. Bye.
Mmm.